Hello and welcome to TableTalk Friday, your weekly dose of D&D banter between three men in a bedroom. If you like their style, make sure to follow them on whichever podcast service you prefer. And come back every Friday for another upload. Now, back to the boys.
So, I saw Venom, don't remember anything of it, but he's like, anti-hero, not eating bad people or good people Venom, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's not going to be as interesting as I want it to be. I want Venom villain.
I'm such a big promoter of Venom, though. I'm a big fan of the anti-heroes. Like, I like Punisher and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I think it just gives a different vibe for superheroes. So I want to see more Venom. I want them to put a Venom 3 in. They left some
I mean, they'll do a
loops.
Venom 3. That's separate from the MCU, I think.
I just want to see more symbiotes. I want to see Scream, I want to see Toxin.
But Venom's in the MCU now.
Yeah.
And he's Tom Hardy.
Cool. I'm into it.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. It was a nice little surprise at the end of the movie, because I was told I had to watch the post-credit scene by someone, and I was like, well, this has to do with the MCU, because no one would tell me to watch the Venom post-credit scene unless it was important to me.
Yeah.
And then it came up, and I was pleasantly surprised, because I was like, all right, well, that was worth my $10 movie ticket and Siley's.
It was good. I enjoyed the experience.
Yeah.
Wish it was a little better, but it's okay. But, talking about how great of a villain Venom is, what could be a great class for you guys to play? What a good segue, right? Am I right?
No.
Classes. Who needs them?
Math.
That's what we're going to be talking about today on today's episode of Table Talk Friday. So, Seth, you can, I'll let you jump in with the intro. See that I cut you off there.
Welcome to Table Talk Friday, everybody. My favorite class in high school was marching band.
Nerd.
Welcome to our show, our new episode of the show. This is episode 6, and we're going to be talking about our favorite classes. So we're going to go over sort of our experience with a couple of different classes individually, and which one we enjoyed playing the most. Now, I am not the most experienced player here, so I'd like not to take the lead on this, because I have a total of like 3 characters that I've played for more than a couple of sessions, and I do have my preferences in those 3. But I think you guys would be better to start speaking about classes and your favorite ones. And who better than the stan of one class himself, Andrew Romano. I am Seth Pittman. Andrew Romano is sitting next to me, as you can see.
Yeah, as they see me right here.
Well, so to open up, we're talking about classes in D&D. There's 13 to pick from. So Drew,
does that include Artificer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I believe so.
I'm
13.
impressed he knew how many classes there were off the top of his head.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know that. I was about to list them all out because I didn't know.
Yeah, no, it's Artificer, Bard, Barbarian, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Rogue, Ranger, Paladin,
Warlock,
Wizard, Sorcerer. And if only I were counting them out. I still don't know how many there are.
And that's the end of the episode. Thank you guys for joining us here on Table Talk Friday. Take it away.
So Drew, of all of us, you're the one who's got a favorite class that you'll die for. Why don't you tell the good folks what that might be?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think we all know the Cleric is the best class. So I'm not going to claim like it's specifically my favorite, but I'm a huge promoter and fan of the Cleric. Just because there's so many things you can do with it. Anything you want to play, you can be a Cleric and make it that way.
All right, I want you to go over some of these examples, because I do not share your love for Cleric, because I think with most classes you can be very versatile. No, please, give me some justifications.
Okay, so I'm a big support character. I love being support. I love doing healing. I love buffing, debuffing, all that kind of stuff. And the Cleric is exactly that. His spell list has tons of buffs, debuffs, healing, everything you could want from that perfect support class and controlling the battlefield, right? But that's not all he does. You can be a Cleric of one of, I'm going to say 13 because it sounds like a pretty good number Zach threw out. 13 different subclasses.
A ton of them. Just say a ton.
There's
a ton of subclasses.
A ton of Cleric subclasses.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe there's more Cleric subclasses than any other class. Like, they've just got that many.
There might be.
I'm going to say yes to sound cool. Yes, absolutely. I have
There's a lot.
played-
Yeah, there's a lot of good subclasses.
But specifically the Tempest Cleric. The Tempest Cleric is the coolest class in D&D. You should only play that one. There's really no reason to play any other classes.
Yeah, you're super cool way of the open hand monk. Get him out of here. He's got to be a Tempest Cleric now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad you said it. Seriously, if you're on the fence about any class, whether it be rogues or monks or a wizard, just throw it away. Just be a Tempest Cleric. It covers everything you need.
So do you think Tempest Cleric, or like not even Tempest Cleric in general, but Cleric overall is good for beginners? Could beginners play Cleric?
So, I'm not going to say it's a flaw of the Cleric, because there's no flaws in this class. However, if you're starting off in the game, and you're looking for something a little more simple, easy to understand, maybe a low-level kind of one-off adventure, something like that, the Cleric might not be the easiest thing to understand right away, just because he is a full caster, which means he gets spells level 1 through 9, lots and lots of spells. However, of the casters, if you want to look at it that way, he does have one of the easier lists to understand, similar to the Druid, where once you hit a certain level, you get a list of spells you can have, and every day you select which of those spells you want to prepare. So it's a little easier than playing something like a wizard or a warlock. Could be a little complicated. So, it's not the worst in that way.
Yeah, I will say that as far as casters go, Cleric does have a lot of awesome options like that. I believe Sorcerer has a lot of great options as well. Sorcerer is not my favorite class. This is not me going into that. But in a similar way, if you had to choose a starting class like that, then Sorcerer is a great option because you don't know that many spells. You don't have a lot to keep track of. You're just learning the basics of casting. I mean, and then, knowing when to use sorcery points.
Of course,
So.
yeah. And just to harp on Sorcerers a little bit more, one of their best features is the Divine Soul Sorcerer subclass, which just turns you into a cleric with meta magic, and that's just so. It's one of my favorite subclasses. Definitely to multi-class.
I was about to say I think it's a great multi-class option.
Anything else that you'd like to say on cleric, though, Drew? I didn't want to.
Anything else? I mean, we only have about 40 minutes, so let's see. There's. Of all the different options, Tempest is my favorite. War is super cool, super simple to understand. Light, Life are super cool. If you want to go just absolute mass healing. If you want to go, the Divine Sorcerer thing, it's just a baby cleric is what it is.
More like a cleric made of glass, if you will.
Yeah, it's just,
but
if
you
I'm not
can cast fireballs, so there's give and take.
So
but
if I'm
can
not
cast Resurrection, so
if I'm not mistaken, though, clerics do get a good bit of they get a lot of armor, right? They get heavy armor.
Most of them get heavy armor. I think there's a few that don't, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Right. Yep.
But you have proficiency with anything you need as a cleric. So realistically, if you want to play one, you can flavor it in any way you see fit. You can have a shield. You can be more melee based. You could be more spellcasty. You can be hardy. You could be strong. Any way you want to do it. You could be just the full wisdom build. However you want to do it, you can. There's no cleric that you're going to make that's wrong or inherently bad to play.
Do you think there are any downsides to cleric other than not using them for... I know you're going to make the joke. I know you're going to say that there's no downsides because it's the perfect class. But if you had to say some downsides to cleric, if I had to choose one personally, I would think that while they do have some of the coolest spells on the list, that they can kind of be like a jack of all trades, master of none. Unless you choose full support. Full support or full defense as a cleric, because I do see okay, if I want to go a cleric who's using a lot of attack magic, well, they're not the best magic casters, Mm-hmm. If you want to go a cleric that's full healing, where you're going to be missing out on a lot of the other benefits of being a cleric. So what other downsides would you see?
I would have to agree and say that one of their differences, I wouldn't say flaw or weakness, one of their differences is that, you're not playing a full magic wizard. You're not going to be a full damage barbarian or fighter. That's not what you're going for. You will be somewhere in the middle. You'll be a little more of a bard type. So you can't exactly specialize perfectly in one thing, I would say. You're not going to be the most meta powerful in that sense. But they're perfect for the middle ground. You get a little of everything covered, which I think is really fun for the average player.
Or if you just want to be the guy that heals, and that's your one special niche. I will say that's the one thing that cleric does better than any other class is that. But it's cool that you get that versatility. I'm a huge proponent of the cleric. I love it as well. But if there was one thing that I think a lot of newer players get turned away by the cleric, it's sort of that in-baked thematic element to it. So you hear cleric, you think, it's like a religious guy, and he calls upon a god, so I've got to like learn all this lore about all right, so who are the gods in this world? What's the difference between a life cleric and a war cleric in this world? It really demands a lot of the players if they're newer to actually like learn, so that you can fully roleplay your character. But it also puts a lot on the DM to have those questions answered for the player who says, okay, well, I really want to be a trickster cleric, but I don't want to be like an evil cleric. So what are like some good trickster deities that exist in your world? Okay,
Yeah.
well, so you got to come up with that. So that's the one caveat, but it can also be a strength depending on how you want to flavor it. You don't necessarily have to be, the most holy of person. Like I said, there's the trickster cleric domain, which is sort of like on the edge of what you'd expect a standard cleric, neutral good sort of character to be. But there's just that whole range, which is very nice.
Yeah, I definitely see that. So I think that's Drew's favorite class. I know that's Drew's favorite class, but I think it's time to move on to someone else.
To the war clerics.
No. All right, Zach, who should go next? Do you want me to go next, or are you ready to go?
I'll give it a shot. So, in thinking about this episode before we prepared, I'll say that I'm split, and there's a couple classes that I would say would be my favorite. So I'll give you a short rundown of some of the elements that I like to see in a class. So, my whole thing is I don't like to be pigeonholed into one specific thing. So, like the cleric, I'd like a character that can wear armor and use different weapons if that's what I want, but also cast spells and get that versatility. So I like a character that does a little bit of everything as far as, fighting and casting spells. So with that in mind, other classes that I really love, the ranger is great. It's like a druid, but a fighter. You get lots of options.
Pretty much it, yeah.
You can, you get special spells like Hunter's Mark, and you can be good with a bow or melee. You can sort of get
You
that,
get some healing.
Healing. And that's another prerequisite, I'll say. Healing. I always like to have that on my characters so that even if I'm, a frontline fighter, I can reach over and support the party in whatever way needs supporting on that turn. So that's a really great feature of the ranger. I also really love the druid. It's kind of my favorite class. Every time I've played a druid, I've just loved it, but I've never played one in a full campaign. So it's of what I've played of the druid, I love it. I really love the circle of wildfire that came with Tasha's. I'm gonna play that druid. Yeah, I'm gonna play that one at some point. But I just love their, they can shapeshift, heal, cast spells, and they can be very much like a melee fighter or a spellcaster as well.
I think you should consider the Wildfire Druid, since you love it so much, for Wild Beyond the Witchlight stuff, which is going to be part of Dragon Heist when we run it.
That's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Yeah.
That said, other classes that I love, Artificer. I've been playing one for a long time now. They're very much, they get the healing, the fighting, and the spell casting. And then they can also create magic items, which is great. Again, they're another one of those jack-of-all-trades classes, so you do lose out on, you're not going to be the best fighter, the best spellcaster, but you'll be, going toe-to-toe with the better on both those ends, just depending on how you build your character. And you get lots of options because of those magical infusions that you can create. But all that out of the way, my favorite, absolute favorite class that I come back to time and time again is Paladin. And
he said it.
Yeah. So there's a couple reasons. Yeah, there's a couple reasons why I love Paladin. First of all, just like the imagery, I really like. I like, knights in heavy armor with big swords. That's just cool imagery. It's iconic. When you think about like fantasy adventure, there's you can be generic with like a wizard is your standard mage. You got your rogue who's like the sneaky type. And then you've got, a fighter or a paladin right up in front with their heavy armor, big, sword and shield, and just ready to kick ass. And, there are so many reasons to love paladin. So at first level, they get their lay on hands. So immediately you're both fighting and healing and supporting the party. There are a couple, like I was talking with Cleric, I think you'd agree there are some thematic things that some players will have to get over. You don't always want to play like a religious character.
Or a lawful good type of character.
True. Yeah, and in older editions, the Paladin was a lot more restrictive with what you could be, so they were very much tied into their oath and their code, and if you ever break the code, then there are mechanical detriments to your character that happen. Basically, you just become like a bad fighter if you don't uphold your paladin code, which can lead you to be sort of a dick at the table because say the rogue really wants to pickpocket this person or steal things, lie, defame, cheat, whatever. If you're gonna be an oath of devotion paladin and you're standing up for what you think is good all the time, and you're gonna stop anyone from doing any crime ever, you're just not gonna be very fun to play with. So
I don't want you at my table.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that sort of thing that you have to get over with the paladin, but there's a lot of ways that you can play a paladin who can cooperate with the rogue or the warlock at the table as well. And that's what I've done when I play paladin. Usually will lean more to, neutral good or some neutrality there. So it's not so, empirical. We must do good all the time. Sometimes, like with the Oath of Redemption Paladin or Oath of Vengeance, there's sort of like a moral gray area where we do the best that we can, but ultimately, if someone has to die or we have to, commit a crime, it's for the good of everything. So that's sort of fun ways to have that take on it. But in any case, the reason why I really love the Paladin is 2 words: Divine Smite. So at second level, you get the ability to just add flat radiant damage to your melee attacks as a Paladin. And let me tell you, you get a crit, you add Divine Smite on top of that, and you'll just melt the dragon that Seth prepared for the whole party to fight for that session.
And that's fine. I welcome those moments.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can say it with one word, just smites in general. Like there are a lot of good smites you can add with Paladin. With there's the Thunder Smite. What's the other one?
Branding
Smite.
Branding Smite.
Blinding.
Yeah, so many cool smite attacks that come with the Paladin overall that make them a really, that make them a little more flavorful version of like a fighter.
Yeah.
If a fighter runs in with his longsword and he gets a crit, well, he's gonna deal a lot of damage because he's a fighter. But at the same time, when the Paladin does it, God strikes him down too.
Yeah.
I think some of my favorite moments are like when we did the 15th level one-off, and was it a monk or was it? I think it was a paladin who.
No, I was
you were a paladin.
So I was a monk barbarian with a magic item that let me do divine smite.
Yeah, that lets you do divine smite, and so he literally like Superman flew through my giant that I put in his way. Like moments like that you don't get from a lot of other classes because they aren't made to be nukes, but a paladin is literally a nuclear bomb waiting to go off.
Mm-hmm. I think similar to the sorcerers, though, they're also a good multi-class as well, because you can get a little bit of a smite out of there, get a little lay on hands.
The lay on hands is huge.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
a pretty good one right there. The problem is, though, with the paladins is that, could really just give the smites to the clerics, and they'd be, just better.
Well, you wait until 8th level, you get like a mini smite. But no, a cleric is never going to be as good as a paladin. And that's that's the hill that I'll die on.
And I've now thrown the mic down.
But
I have to agree with you. I find playing paladin cooler.
Yeah.
But do I think cleric's cool? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll say
Sure.
for
I respect your opinions, and I understand that they're wrong. So it's okay. I'll tolerate it.
I do have 2 words to explain cleric in the nutshell for me. Spirit guardians.
yep, great spell.
One of my favorites. Like, great, amazing spell.
Yeah, and they the clerics will carry a party, I'll say, but between the two of which I'd prefer to play, honestly, paladins just feel like they've got that protagonist energy.
Yes,
like they're very, when I think of a paladin, I think of someone who's strong-willed, who will tie the group together, give a rousing speech, and be the glue that holds this band of misfits together, or at least that's how I've played it when I play paladin.
And you know what I think of when I think of cleric? I think of the character who deserves all the credit but gets none of it.
Yep. Yep. So the paladin will run in, he'll a charge, and waste all his spell slots on Divine Smite, and then the cleric will come back in and make sure while the paladin is being reckless and
that
stupid,
every single person that was around the battlefield is taken care of.
But the paladin will pretend that they're carrying the party, because they have those healing options from time to time.
I would agree. I think the paladins inherently, if you just take them at face value, are definitely better leadership types of a class, I would think, than a cleric. Cleric is exactly that. It's support. But paladins and, like we talked about the rangers before, something clerics don't have is fairy fire or cool spells like all the smites. And what else do paladins get? They get some cool stuff, don't they?
Yeah, they're 5th level. So if you want to take a paladin to level 17, they get Destructive Wave, which is just like
Destructive Wave.
I believe it's fire and radiant damage, and it's just like a holy explosion of whatever. I think
of something.
This is my holy whatever explosion.
Well, clerics get Flame Strike,
Flame Strike's cool.
Yeah, I believe I'm remembering this correctly. I'm pretty sure Destructive Wave is just a little bit more powerful to justify that, super high level requirement for it. But yeah, paladins are awesome. I love paladins. The subclasses, to talk about them very briefly, are all very fun, and I'd love to play all of them at some point. I love the Oath of Redemption, and sort of like that non-combat as much as possible sort of vibe that they have. They're, very zen versus like a Oath of Vengeance paladin, which makes me think of like, medieval Batman, basically, where you'll be a vigilante. Oath of Glory seems like a lot of fun. That one just came out recently with what's the new? No, it was a new magic one, the one based on ancient Greece.
Oh, I can't think what it was.
Theros, Mythic Odysseys of
that's
Theros.
the one.
Yep.
Zach's so smart.
Takes notes.
He's the notes guy.
Yeah, but I'd love to play that one. It's very like a Hercules himbo type paladin who bolsters everyone with his own greatness. So that's a lot of fun. But the paladins are just they're great, good, clean fun. Playing a dumb paladin is great. I can say from experience.
I've played a dumb paladin. Like the only paladin I played was stupid, and I loved him.
Yeah, and I will say I do have a bias towards paladin because my very first character, who was very beloved and died before his time, Haemog Takari, rest in peace, bud. He was a very dumb paladin. So.
What a night! Oh man, I miss Haemog. Like just the vibes him and Schmidt had together. Good times.
Now, something we didn't bring up about paladins. One of the first things I actually think of, maybe it's not something everyone thinks of, but I think of the golden plated armor and the big longsword as he casts Fine Steed and gets on his big glowing like celestial beast.
Yeah,
I think Fine Steed is one of the coolest spells.
Fine Steed is a great spell, and that's like literally what you just described is who my paladin was. He was the lawful good, golden armor, Celestio the camel. riding into towns and saving everyone.
What a loyal companion he was.
Yeah, he was forced to be. I summoned him.
Yeah. Also, find Greater Steed. I've never been able to cast it, but it's great because then you can have a Pegasus.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. You can literally summon a Pegasus, Drew.
Okay, I might play Paladin just to get a Pegasus.
Yeah, or a Celestial Hippogriff to.
Ooh, that's.
I would even allow you to have, like a Lulu from Descent into Avernus. Get yourself like a Celestial, not maybe a mammoth, but maybe like a small elephant.
Yeah,
I want to ride a mammoth, Seth.
That'd be so cool.
Well, you literally rode a mammoth in the last session.
Yeah, but it's not my mammoth.
Well, you didn't ride it. You were on the edge of life once again.
Doing what wizards do best.
Dying. Speaking of wizard, let's get to. Well, I'm gonna do what Zach did and start with my runner-ups because I do have a specific favorite that I don't think is the best class. My third place winner is Bard.
The participation ribbon.
The participation ribbon goes to Bard because I love Bard as 1, a beginner class, 2, an all-around caster, and 3, someone who can also hit things. And they're really good for flavor too. Like Bards, I find are very carefree in their nature. Depending on who you are, you can be a stuck-up Bard. You can be creative with it in whatever way you want, but. They have subclasses for just about anything you could go for. Go College of Swords or College of Valor if you want to fight as a bard. Go College of Glamour or College of Whispers or something if you want to go a little more magic damage based.
Or lore, of course.
Or lore. I mean, lore is going to make you into the Wizard of Bards, which if I had to choose a bard to play all the time, I would definitely just go lore. Like, lore is going to give you so many spells and options. You can be a bard that can cast Fireball and Counterspell.
Yeah.
Great. Love it. And not only all of that, but I find that they have a lot of different flavor. Most people think of bards as the guy who, plays an instrument and sings in taverns, right? That's what everybody thinks of when they think of a bard. But a bard can be so much more. I always bring up, someone who, literally uses their dances and the way they use their sword or their mace or whatever item or whatever weapon they're using to cast their spells. They're really
College of Swords.
like a College of Swords or something like that. You can change whatever your art is in so many different ways. It doesn't just have to be playing music. You can write poetry on a piece of paper and the words come out and cast spells. You can tell a story and the way that you enunciate your words when you hit a certain syllable, it comes out and makes an effect go off. Or, there's so many different ways to flavor it. Even the bard who walks with his sword on the ground and scrapes it at different times, like in rhythm, or writes different sigils onto the ground with it, can make these cool effects and spells go off. Like, there's so much flavor that can go into the class. Or even an acrobatic bard, like, come on. You can literally just pull off a cool move or, a sick backflip and shoot something out while you're doing so. Like,
that would be a great monk bard.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Yeah. Now I'm thinking that's a great multi-class. Maybe we'll talk about that
Bard
sometime.
and Monk are both great multi-classes.
Yeah.
So yes, Bard is my third place winner. There's so much that can be said about it, but I mean, it's not as good as the other two. Now, my runner-up, second place ribbon, silver medal, the Wizard. I know, everyone thought it was going to be the first. Everyone thought Seth, he loves wizards, he loves casters. Wizards have so much versatility when it comes... If you're going to be a spellcaster, albeit a very complicated to understand spellcaster, go for Wizard, because you can learn the most spells in the game. You can literally learn every spell on the Wizard spell list if you find enough spell books and people who cast them. And if you have the money to do so, because, it's not cheap. Mm-hmm. But you can learn every spell. You can create all kinds of scrolls and magic items. You can use your knowledge of studying and whatnot to become the absolute, fiend that an archmage can be. Like, if you want to play an archmage, I mean, there's no better way to do it than to play a wizard. Sorcerer can kind of be the same, except for their spell list is very limited. Like, you have a certain amount of spells that are known because that's what your body knows how to cast. You can't go past that. You can't, really get less than it, but you can swap out spells when you level up. When you hit level 20, well, you got your spells. That's it, bud. So, Wizard and Sorcerer are kind of, similar to me, but I would say that Wizard is my second place winner. Sorcerer is probably, my fourth or fifth favorite class. But that brings me to my favorite class. The class that I come back to and I recommend to people all the time because I just think they're so damn cool. And that's the monk. I love monks because they're the anime character of the group. I don't care.
like Sonic the Hedgehog.
They are Sonic the Hedgehog, okay? Because they're the... Monks get so much cool stuff because I feel like above any other class that I've had to DM, monks I can make the most cinematic. Monks I can give the most like cool fighting moves to, and that's because they're hitting like they're doing like taijutsu anime shit, and I can describe that as an avid anime fan. Now, as Zach described, my first character was a monk, and that does give me a slight bias. Schmidt the monk was very fun to play, but I don't think it all comes down to that because nowadays I DM for monks, and every time I DM for a monk, I'm like, oh, you're gonna be the coolest character I can make you. Now, some people make that very difficult. But Way of the Open Hand Monk, you're Bruce Lee, you're going in there, you're hitting hard, you're getting all these cool abilities that make your unarmed strikes as cool as possible. And the reason that I think Monk is like so versatile and so cool is because you don't need a weapon. You don't need anything except food as a monk. You don't have to carry anything with you because your fists are as deadly as that guy's sword. And your strikes at 6th level become magical. So you don't need a magical weapon because your fists are magic. It's so cool. And 2 words about Monk: Stunning Strike. Great. As long as you focused on your wisdom and got it up to 20. Stunning Strike is going to be your best friend because the DC is going to be like 17, 18, depending on who you are.
It'll be so strong.
It'll get up there. Absolutely.
It'll get up there after a little bit, and you're going to be stunning every single enemy. They can't stop you because you stopped them already. So when it comes to like one-on-one fights, monks can do well. Patient defense, giving people disadvantage on hitting you as a bonus action whenever you want, as long as you have the key. Getting all your key points back on a short rest is amazing. You can use 20 key points and then short rest, get them all back. All of this to say that Monk is a great class for people who want to simplify their game and be balanced all the way through. Because Monk is great for starters. You can pick one weapon and tell them they can use their fists, and boom, you've got yourself a nice character that just has to run up, roll a die, and hit. But also, you can flavor those moves. Maybe I want to do a backflip as I do my slice. Maybe I'm talking to a hot tiefling woman, and I want to do a backflip to get out of the room like Sonic the Hedgehog and level 2 of Sonic Heroes.
Just like it.
Exactly like that.
Maybe I want to do those things, and luckily with monks that have acrobatics, they can. I just find that there's so much fun flavor I can add into a monk. I don't think it's the best class by any means, because I think there's people who can do those things as good as better. If you take a fighter or a barbarian and give them like Tavern Brawler or something, or make them an unarmed kind of guy, then okay, you can flavor it in those same ways, or like make someone who is more of a martial artist and not Sonic the Hedgehog. But there are other cool subclasses that come along with it. Way of the Long Death keeps you alive for a very long time. Way of the Sun Soul makes it so that you can shoot key strikes like a Dragon Ball Z character. There's going to be some new subclasses coming out. If I had to, what's the dragon? There's a dragon one coming out, right? Like a dragon subclass that's like Way of the Four Elements.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just like Way of the Four Elements except better. Way of the Four Elements, we don't even talk about that. Don't choose it. Way of the Drunken Master. That's very cool. It's if you've ever seen Naruto, just think of yourself as Rock Lee. You're redirecting attacks and you're drunk. And in the Sasuke arc, you all know what I'm talking about. You've all watched it.
Or if you want to just be the edgiest guy on the block, you'd be a Shadow Monk, and that way you just teleport through shadows.
But Shadow Monk is so good.
It really is.
Using a bonus action to teleport into a shadow within 60 feet of you. How great is that?
Another good multi-class option.
You're like, you go for a punch, except you redirect it because you just teleported behind that guy over there 30 feet away. Now you're behind him and you punch him in the back of the head, and then you run back the 30 feet you teleported because you have so much movement and punch the original guy.
Very cool ninja type
Very
character.
cool ninja type character. But some people play monks dumb. You can a good way to play a monk is, get in, get out. You get your bonus action step of the winds. You can even spare some of your AC and stuff because you get AC with wisdom and dexterity. So you can spare an attack or two because you have a good amount of hit points to run in, hit a guy, and run out and let the paladin come in and clean up. Monks are good hit and runners. Monks are just a very versatile fighter. That's all I'm gonna say. They're a specialized fighter, and if you don't like, what they've got going for them, then maybe it's not for you. But if you can describe those attacks in the coolest way possible, even if you're not dealing the most damage, you're gonna be the coolest character, and that's all that matters in D&D.
Yeah, and so there are some, just to talk on, the full elements of the monk.
Yeah. All I'm talking about is what I like.
Yeah, no, so some people would say that, it's weird to see a kung fu master hanging out with, Legolas and Gimli. If that's the, Lord of the Rings is the brand of fantasy that you want, or you want, a more medieval fantasy sort of style. Monk may seem out of place. That's not to say that you can't flavor it in a way that works for that setting as well. But there is that, narrative element of it that some people seem to dislike. I do quite love Monk. My one frustration with the class lately has just been the addition in Tasha's Cauldron where they added, and I forget the feature's name, but it's essentially monk weapons can extend up to things like long swords and battle axes now.
Right.
As long as they're not heavy weapons, which is nice. But that was the special feature of the Kensai monk.
Which is exactly why I didn't even mention it. Because I was like, well, you don't need to be Kensai now. You can get other powers.
Yeah. So imagining playing a Way of the Open Hand monk with a battle axe or a specially flavored weapon. Something like that. Well, that seems friggin' awesome, but it just sucks for the Kensai class, which had some interesting features.
Well, and when I thought of a Kensai monk before, I thought of a character like Tatsumi from Akame ga Kill. Where in literally the first episode, he takes down this huge monster with his longsword, and I was just like, oh, that's exactly what I imagine when I imagine a Kensai monk. And now you can just do that as an open hand monk, Mm-hmm. Just take around your big sword with you, and you also get big punchy powers too.
Yeah, which is nice, and I like the ability to do more
with
other.
The freedom is nice.
Exactly. But sucks for whoever really loved the Kensai monk.
Yeah, I don't know anyone like that.
Yeah. It was neat too. They get their Kensai shot or whatever. So
yeah.
that was a good ranged option too. But not super necessary.
I couldn't imagine playing a ranged monk full time with them. Maybe having a ranged option for your monk.
Yeah,
but,
that'd be hard.
Yeah, playing a full on ranged monk, it would be crazy unless you have. Oh, what about now they have the monk that does the stands too, like JoJo's, right?
Yeah, Astral Self.
Yeah, the Astral Self. That one's super cool. I mean, that gives you a lot more flavor you can add into it too. Now again, does it make a lot of sense in the fantasy world? You got JoJo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure walking around with you with Morwyn Aloro and Beryl and the Giant's Bane.
I think he would have fit right in.
I think he kind of would too. But at the same time, it's a very fun, flavorful class if you want to make your fighting as cinematic as possible. I always like to make my characters super cinematic. Oh, I do have one rule for my favorite class, and that's that it doesn't heal. I want as little support as possible because I have to make my class cool. Mm-hmm. I like to be very cool.
Oh, you know what's the coolest thing?
Huh.
Healing your friends.
I'm not going to say healing your friends gets you a significant other at the table, but I mean, it might. It might.
Well, let me make my case one more time, and I'll set the stage. So imagine you're on this misty, foggy beach, coastal town that's been razed by frost giants. There's a large bonfire of debris and rubble that these giants sit around, and you and your compatriots rush into battle in the ruins of Port Last, we'll say.
As an example.
I couldn't imagine this ever happening.
Yeah, as you and your companions fight the giants, They go down one by one. You're like level 5. You shouldn't even be here. But they're cleaving through your pals left and right. And all of a sudden, it's just you, the small paladin, with your shield and your 5 hit points left. And there's only one thing you can do, and it's heal your friends so they can keep going on. And then Seth rolls just under your AC so you can block the final attack and then get
cool.
that healing out. Sometimes it's nice to be the one who can heal.
Now, that was funny. So they had a Shadow Monk along with them in this scenario, and the Shadow Monk goes in full speed, ready to take on the giant, and he jumps up in the air. The giant turns around, cleaves him in one shot, throws him on the ground, he's dead. It was so... Oh, but that was an epic fight. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised you still remember that.
Yeah.
What's really funny is I'm hearing this for the first time because I wasn't there for that session.
Oh my gosh.
So knowing that my character was almost dead is a little worrying, and no one told me. But
yeah. I mean, it was a crazy day.
Yeah. I think it was Beryl and Winston and I want to say Daleth were all down.
Oh no.
Up in front. I think Eknon was probably fine. He was hiding away to the side, but.
Yeah, I mean, he was the best in the party,
Yeah.
so he wouldn't have gone down.
Would have been a total party kill if not for Morrowind, though.
If only Eknon had been a cleric, you know?
See, that's the problem. I should have been a rogue cleric. The perfect multi-class.
Oh, another great thing about monks. They're amazing multi-classes. You
Yep.
know, I think they make great multi-classes for the other fighting classes. You know, if you're a fighter, you got a ton of levels. You know, who needs a 20th level fighter? You know what I mean? How about 17 levels and 3 a monk? I mean, or, you know, actually go 5 of monk. You need Stunning Strike to make it worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But go 15 levels fighter, 5 levels of monk, and you're good. You know, or, you know, Barbarian too. Barbarian can be a great multi-class for a monk. So, any of the fighting classes, you can add monk into it and make yourself a little cooler.
Yeah, for sure. And they get the added mobility, which is huge.
Right. Yeah, getting like a 45-foot movement speed, you know, that's great.
Yeah, or like say you're a wood elf and then you bump that up even more.
Yep.
Or you're a tabaxi and you can just go 100 feet in a turn, you know, casually, and then add dash on top of that. You're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a couple levels of cleric on top of that, and you can heal everybody. And
yeah, well, if you could just get a support caster who can cast haste. And then put that on the monk so that they can go like 17 football fields in one round.
I would like to give a shout out to another class, that being the rogue.
Yeah.
Because rogue, 3 levels of rogue anytime is totally worth it. I mean, three levels of rogue is amazing just for the fact that you get cutting action and what else do they? Oh, and the subclass at level 3.
Yep.
But
and sneak attack, which I believe is 2d6 or 3d6 at level 3?
2, I think.
Yeah,
I want to
2.
say 2.
Yeah, it's all right at lower levels, but you know, sneak attack. If you want to really go into sneak attack, you're gonna have to take a lot more rogue for that.
Mm-hmm.
Fighter's a great multi-class too.
Absolutely.
You know, just add a level of fighter in there, you get a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say about jumping back to the monk just for a second, talking about paladins and clerics, I think the monk is the easiest one to flavor. Because I think with the monk, you're going to have a couple different subclass options you were talking about, where it's a little easier to branch out, think outside the box. Well,
we didn't even bring that up. How holy. Monk, you would think of a monk as a person who is holy and, you know, studies the written word of religion. Yeah, that was a really good way to say that. or study the scripture, or like is an acolyte at a monastery or something. You know, monasteries are typically where you would find a monk, but you don't have to do that. I would treat the monk as the martial artist, not necessarily as the holy boy. Right. Now, if you do want to go the holy boy route with a monk, you totally can. You can be an acolyte, or you can be a sage or something, but you don't have to go that route. Anytime I'm making a monk, I treat them as the martial artist, the trained martial artist with certain abilities that they have gathered.
Yeah, and you know what? Come to think of it, I feel like a monk would be like a holy monk would be an interesting addition to our table because we've never seen one.
Yeah, I mean, I tried at first to make Schmidt more like that because that's what I believed it was, and then like he had this cool backstory with his master and whatnot, where him and his master were searching for a certain artifact, and his master got attacked by some orcs on the way while he was like trying to get away, and Schmidt got his key points and got out of there as quick as possible. But yeah, I never really treated him more as the martial artist. We've never had the full on holy monk who is here. He's lawful good or like even just good in general.
Right.
Which is super weird. I think I've run a number of players that have chosen to play monk, and when you first think of a monk, the stereotype is, they're going to be holy, they're maybe like a vow of silence, very wise. I don't think I've ever run a player that chose that right off the bat, versus a lot of other players, like right in the beginning, if you choose barb, you're going to be a big, stupid meathead. You know? Like, you pick something that kind of goes with it.
And like many other classes, you think the monk can't heal. Well, Way of Mercy can heal.
That's true.
Just some players choose not to.
Or the Unearthed Arcana, I think it was Way of Tranquility.
Yes.
That one could have healed as well, but it was disgustingly broken.
Yes,
I will say that.
Yes, it was. It gave him lay on hands, right?
It was lay on hands, but doubled. So not 5 points in your pool every level, 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at 7th level, you could heal for 70 points.
Yeah, Way of Tranquility was disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, oh, well, I'm level 5. I got 50 hit points to spare. Full health. Like, you just died. Full health.
Mm-hmm.
I had never heard of this, but that's absolutely broken.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, but Way of Mercy does much of the same thing, but also a lot more. So
yeah.
It's a better class for sure.
Yeah, Way of Mercy is a great way to get all of your cool martial artist stuff in, because you're still going to get the base monk abilities like Stunning Strike and Flurry of Blows, things like that. But, you get your Hand of Harm, which will poison people for a turn, and then you get your Healing Hands, which are amazing if you use them.
Yeah.
Shout out to Patrick. He's a great player.
Well, I don't think it's that he chooses not to. I think a lot of times I'm down as the wizard of the party. I think his healing hand doesn't work on wizards. I think that's the defect.
That makes sense. That does make sense.
Yep.
I think it says that in like the fine print.
I must have missed it. I must have missed it somewhere.
Yeah, much better use of all your key points is Stunning Strike on a creature with 26 Constitution.
Oh,
definitely better use.
Stunning Strike, when it does go off on a creature like that, though, is disgusting.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
If you use it consistently, you get 4 hits this turn. You're level 10. You get 4 chances to take this guy down or like to stun him. He has to make the save 4 times. One of those times might be a nat 1. You know what I mean? Like maybe even if he has a +10 to his Constitution, it's only going to be an 11. Not going to beat the monk usually. So I mean, it's an amazing ability. Stunning Strike is. It can debilitate the big bad to where they're down for the turn, and then everybody just gets to come in and wail on them, and you might have taken out 3/4 of their health in that one turn because of the Stunning Strike going off.
Yeah, and it was definitely very useful with our current party at earlier levels. Just melting bearded devils. You get one
barb
stunning
devils too.
Yeah, and one Stunning Strike is all you need, and then they're pretty much down for the count for the rest of the.
Yeah, it was super.
combat.
Like whenever you guys went up against the High Riders in that one fight, you guys had a number of devils that were available there, and Varys goes in and punches 2 of them and stuns them in the first turn. And it was like, that was great, amazing, good job, Varys. That was probably the save of the encounter that didn't make it deadly for you guys. Like what made it so much easier. So. Yeah, I mean, I say that I don't like support at all, but if monks use their key points for stunning and stuff like that, I mean, stunning it for the fighter or barbarian to come in and then running the fuck out of there, I mean, not a bad strategy.
Yeah, and mobile feat would be great with monk too.
Yes.
So you can just first of all, you get an extra 10 feet on top of all that movement that you've got already. But then if you make attacks. Against creatures, they don't get to make an attack of opportunity if you run away.
Right.
Man, I think monks are one of the few classes that can absolutely swing a fight in one round. Just that one that goes off, that one just flurry of blows where they land everyone or hit like a nat 20 or 2. Just absolutely swing the fight.
Big downsides, their nat 20s aren't that satisfying.
No, because
they
they're
don't.
Small.
Yeah, they're small. Their hits are small. They just get a lot of them. So they get that one nat 20. They might deal over 20 damage in that one hit, but they have 3 more attacks to go that they have to hit too. Their nat 20s are a little underwhelming.
The monk multi-class that I want to play in like a long-term sense, monk barbarian.
Yeah,
you get that rather than dex, you go into strength. So you get that rage bonus to your attacks.
Yeah,
and then they just start hitting a lot beefier. when you get up there.
Yeah.
That's definitely one that I'll...
Well, now they have the unarmed, like, combatant, like, fighting style or whatever. The
Yeah.
unarmed fighting style.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, do you even need monk at that point?
No,
you know?
not really, because...
You can just go fighter, get this fighting style, and be like, okay, I did it.
Mhm.
I'm the barbarian now.
Yeah, and it's disgusting if you're completely unarmed. It's a D8 at level 1.
Oh, man. Yeah.
If you have a shield, then it would be a D6, but still...
Still good.
Yeah.
I mean, being the Captain America fighter like that, too, you got the shield and the fist, you know?
Uh-huh.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I love it. That's definitely something that I'll be doing at some point.
I can see you playing, like, a long-term, like, Captain America style character.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Did I ever tell you about the Marvel one-off?
Yes,
Yeah,
you did.
Yep. I played a Captain America style character, and now I'm talking about it online too, which is super cool.
Yeah.
But it honestly super cool. You can just beat guys up with your shield. And
Take the shield master feat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd want it to be like a thrown weapon too, though.
Yes.
Make it like a custom thing where you know, like a hand axe, a D6.
I would.
range.
I mean, you could definitely swing like doing the first couple of levels. You know, you just fight fist and shield, and then getting someone like an artificer or like a magic item, like a forge of someone to forge you a weapon that comes back. Like, and maybe you do it Captain America style where you throw it and it seeks its way back to you. Like it has to bounce off things. If you throw it straight, it doesn't work. You know, it has to have things to bounce off of. But if it hits, you know, one or two things on the way, it can come back to you.
Yeah, no, and Artificer does have that returning weapon infusion that they can do.
Yeah.
So that's definitely... Well, you can even do that multi-class.
Yeah.
Tons of great options.
Yeah. All right. I think that does it for this week. Any closing thoughts before I bring us out?
I mean, if you want to be cool, play cleric. That's it. That's all you need to take out of this episode.
Thank you for listening to this week of Table Talk Friday. This was episode 6, all about our favorite classes. I mean, we talked about a lot of other classes, like in the process of that. Catch us next week. Not sure what the subject's going to be yet, but make sure you follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening, any service that's there. Character, not sure who you are. Take us out.
Hello, thank you for listening to Table Talk Friday. For more adventures, check us out at your favorite podcast service. If you have any questions about our travels, you can please send us a sending spell at tabletalkfriday@gmail.com. And otherwise, feel free to stop by next Friday for our next episode. And I hope you have a nice rest of your day.